Hi and welcome to the Candidates Recap Round 13. I'm live here from Madrid. Finally, I decided to come by and check out on the candidates. The tournament is clearly coming to an end as Jan Nepomniachtchi is with 2 points lead with 2 rounds to go. He's just about to clinch that title here, right now. But still the intrigue is on who will take the second place, because if Magnus Carlsen decides not to play the match, the second finisher is going to play against Jan Nepomniachtchi for the World Championship crown. With Hikaru, Ding Liren, and Fabiano and Timur also having an outside chance for a second place, things are just about to get really exciting. Let's see what happened today. The first question was what's going to happen in the game between Jan and Richard. Will Richard give Jan an opportunity to draw quickly? Will he also play the Berlin like Hikaru 2 days ago? Will we see a quick move repetition? Or will Richard still keep the intrigue going? And Richard delivered. He played the c5, the Sicilian, and even against this main line, he decided to play the Rouser and not the Sveshnikov, which is more known to be much more drawish. The Rouser is the one of the most complex openings that Black can play, but Jan was really well prepared. He neutralized Richard's prep and went for this knight takes e6 idea, which is not considered accurate because Black can equalize with h6 and d5. But equalizing is exactly what Jan is ready to embrace. Equal is fine for him. He just wants to simplify, clinch that win, and he did that very convincingly. This is all known theory, and everything just gets traded, and you get an endgame. Exactly what Jan wants. 2 little pieces on the board and an easy draw for him. And that means a first place. That was not in doubt already in a long time. Here Jan has a better pawn structure, and Black should be grateful that Jan is happy to repeat moves because Black cannot push with these ugly double pawns, but Jan doesn't want to push either. So a very convincing win by Jan. The question now shifted to who's going to take the second place. Alireza against Ding. Didn't want to take many risks. Went for this drawish variation. Things actually got interesting at some point, surprisingly, as they were heading towards a forced draw somewhere around move 20 here. Alireza decided to win the pawn, allow Black to get beautiful pawn structure and unbalance the position for no need though. He could just play bishop f3, but still this position remained balanced. White is up a pawn, Black has very nice pawns. Even though I prefer Black, still Alireza was able to defend very well at some point when it was really important to defend from these connected passed pawns. He sacrificed the piece and the draw was never in doubt. Not a great news for Ding, who will have to win his game tomorrow to get that second place that he desires. Game between Raja and Fabian Caruana was very important from a theoretical viewpoint, but not too long, not too exciting. Against the Catalan, Fabi played a rare move here. He allowed White to recapture the pawn on c4. Usually Black takes on d2 and then goes for b5, hanging on to this pawn. But here he allowed White to regain the pawn and sacrificed one more for quick development. This typical c5 break came. Now Black is down 2 pawns. After queen b6, even 3 pawns. And this is what Fabi was probably hoping for. After queen c8, queen is about to get trapped. And if the queen goes back, Black goes for e5 and e4 and knight to d4 and gets lots of compensation for 3 pawns. It is a huge sacrifice. But Raja, very calm and collected, was not into any funky business, just retreated the queen, happy to go into an endgame, which is maybe a little better, maybe not. Actually not. And the game was ended in a draw pretty quickly. Fabi has got excellent compensation for the pawn because he's better developed. White is yet to castle. Knight d5 came. If White castles, Black will take the pawn here, regaining material balance. Same happened here. Raja kept an extra pawn, but clearly this b pawn is too weak and Fabi was able to pick it up. Raja just returned it and the game was drawn. An important game for theoreticians, but not one that is too exciting for us. Now let's move on to the game of the day without any doubt. Hikaru against Duda. And that was a fight. Hikaru wanted to go for a win today with the white pieces, clearly, as tomorrow he's facing Ding with the black pieces. And he went for that bishop e3 line against a Najdorf. Here went for h3, intending g4. After h6, decided not to go for g4, went for bishop c4 instead. And position became very interesting around here, where Duda didn't want to castle, but allowed White to take and make him lose the rights for castling. Now the king is kind of stuck in the center, but Black's got a very nice pawn structure. This pawn on e6 controls these 2 squares. The question is, once again, is that more important than the king's safety? And it remained very complex. There were many options for both sides. I'm taking a deeper look at this game for the chessable course that I'm doing, where I'm going to go a little more in depth because it was very complex. But here, let's see. Hikaru's h4 was actually a big shocker for me. Very interesting idea to try to cement the knight. After king f7 now, the knight will be defended. Very annoying knight that stayed there until the end of the game. Proved to be a very big strength. Hikaru, experienced player, knows that these kind of constructions, h5, knight g6, they could be very important at the very end in many endgames. And it really told. There were lots of options. Now, knight d1 was interesting, removing the knight from the c file, wants to get b3, c4. The e4 pawn lacks a little bit of attention, and Duda was eventually able to even win it here. But Hikaru has some compensation. The king is still stuck here in the center. Knight is still able to return to g6. And position was roughly balanced until at one important moment, on move 31, Hikaru missed a very subtle resource. So if white is just able to double on the d file here, go bishop a3 first, then rook d1, put pressure here, white's going to have really great compensation. But rook of d1 was a big blunder because after bishop g5, rook d3, suddenly there is b5, a huge shot. Now if you take, there is rook c2, and if you go for bishop a3, and b4 closes down the bishop, and now the d6 pawn is very comfortable. There are even ideas of e4, when after queen e4, knight c5, black wins an exchange. But even without that, this b5, b4 was a huge achievement. Now bishop a3 is never an idea. Bishop is unable to attack the d6 pawn. But instead of going b4, Duda went for d5, which doesn't work for many reasons. I guess he was really tired. Now after cd, rook c2, maybe he was hoping that he wants to go b4 and the bishop lacks squares. But there are many refutations to that. You can play queen f3, for example, b4 and de, knight f6, and now there is rook d7, or e7, or even queen f5. Lots of different ways to play for white. But also bishop d6, a strong intermezzo. Now if rook e2, you got bishop c7. And this endgame should still be objectively fine for black, but already the tide was turning, and Duda was unable to deal with his blunder and started playing really unconvincingly here. Instead of going ed, he went for knight c5. Hikaru played d6, and now Duda just very quickly trusted his opponent, went knight d7 back when the d-pawn was just too strong. Instead, he could have just gone for knight d3, and after rook d3, rook a2, d7, rook a8, it turns out that even though white wins 2 pieces for a rook and the knight on g6, together with the rook, could sometimes deliver checkmate. Here, this rook protects the 8th rank, and the a-pawn is just very strong. After a4, pawn is walking down the board, and all white has is some sort of a perpetual check with the knight at some point. There's nothing more than that, and Duda clearly had to go for this. What he did was really terrible. Here, Hikaru just invades on c7 sooner or later, and he did so in a very, very good way. He played rook c3 and moved the king out of the check. Played one more important prophylactic move later here, played this move king h3, very stylish conversion. The rook on c7 is monstrous, the d-pawn is super strong, and the game was basically decided. And finally, it was all clinched by a nice tactic d7. If knight takes d7, we've got this little fork. And it's all over. So a huge win for Hikaru. Clearly both players were really tired. That whole moment here where Hikaru blundered b5 after bishop g5, and then Duda didn't go before, shows that the tournament is coming to an end. Tension is way too high. Everybody is way too exhausted. But still a big win for Hikaru, as tomorrow he'll face Ding Liren, half point ahead. And there's maybe a lot to play for both the players, as second place could mean a lot. And Hikaru is in a must-not-lose position with the black pieces. So Ding has a chance to put pressure from the opening with white, but it won't be easy. Hikaru is very well prepared. And last time Ding tried to put pressure was against Timur Rajabov with the white pieces, and that backfired real badly. So things looking good for Hikaru, but everything will be decided. Tomorrow's game of the round, clearly, Ding against Hikaru. A lot to play for these two players. In first place, though, it's already decided. Congrats to Yanni Pomnishi. You can find a deeper look into the game of the day on the Chessable course. If you go pro on Chessable, it's free. And so if you pay first, it's that free, obviously. Very logical. And you also have puzzles, and you'll be a proud pro member on Chessable. So do check out my Chessable course on the candidates, and see you there. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and of course check out my Chessable course where I look at the game of the day in much more detail, and there are puzzles produced by Chessable. So once again, thanks, and see you with the next recap. Bye bye.